Welcome again to this show, My Testimony. This is a talk show that brings you the life experience of campus students, especially within Kenyatta University, as well as Kusda Church as a whole. And I'm your host, Bran Onyango, and today, episode 3 of this show, I'm joined by my brother, Patrick Babere. Hi, Patrick.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How do you do?
I'm doing fine.
Okay,
It's a blessed evening here, and we thank God this far.
yeah, sure.
So maybe for our viewers who maybe doesn't know who is Patrick Babere.
Mhm.
So who is Patrick Babere?
Okay, okay. Hello, viewer. We are privileged once again to have you here as you watch this episode of my testimony. Patrick Babere is my name. I am a second year student taking masters in public health epidemiology. Uh, I've been a member of COSDA since I joined here 2018, and the experience has been awesome, and I thank God. Yeah, so.
Oh, thank you so much. You mentioned that you were second year. I thought you were second year undergraduate.
I know.
Second year doing masters. I remember when you came here 2 years ago and joined Great Hope, many people thought that you were first year doing undergraduate.
Yeah, sure.
How is the masters taking you?
Well, masters is an interesting experience. It's not so hectic. So, everything, it's how you take it.
Sure.
When you take things to be hard, they'll always be hard. When you take them to be easy, they will be easy. At first, I was quite naive and nervous. I thought it will be such a hectic experience, but I have been experiencing and I've been gaining more and more. And I've experienced indeed that learning is a gradual process.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the more I go on, is the more I'm expanding my mind, and I've been learning so much, and I'm still continuing to learn. Yeah.
And you want to do a PhD?
Yeah.
Or you'll consider that later?
Well, let's first finish this then. Okay, it's in my consideration, though I'm not so sure of the timing.
Okay.
But yeah, I have that dream.
And where did you do your undergraduate? Was it in Kenyatta University?
Okay. That reminds me also. While I was in high school in my Forces Academy here in Nairobi,
Wow.
Kenyatta University was my dream university. By then, I was aspiring to do biochemistry, and then things turned. I didn't get the grade that would admit me to JAB, but I got a well-wisher who was willing to sponsor me.
Wow.
He challenged me not to go for biochemistry, so he advised me to apply for medicine and surgery. So I applied for medicine and surgery, and the admission letter did come. So I was prepared, and I was psychologically set for the course of medicine and surgery. That was way back in 2013. But then, 2 weeks to admission, the letter was cancelled. I received another letter recalling the former.
Wow.
So that is how. But then I had also applied for through JAB. By then it was Joint Admissions Board. I had applied. So when I applied through JAB, I was admitted in public health in Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University of Science and Technology, JOST. So that's how I found myself in JOST. But even when I went, I was there physically, but
your mind was in KU.
emotionally I was in KU, and that's a dream I was living, knowing that at one point in time I love to study in KU. And so when I was given this opportunity to do masters, I didn't hesitate.
Yeah.
I applied in KU, I applied in JQuat, and they all admitted me, fortunately. But since KU was my university of choice, so I just opted for KU. And it has been a wonderful experience. I don't regret the decision. Kusda has been home, far away from home. And yeah, I have enjoyed, despite being a postgraduate,
Yeah.
people, most of my classmates really wonder how I managed to stay in KU for that long. Like when they call me most of the times to confirm for them a few things here and there, being I was the class rep.
Yeah.
They find me that most of the time I'm around KU. So for me to be in KU, it's been contributed also by COSDA. Yeah, it's a home far away from home. I've made new friends, wonderful ones like you, and many more others. And Great Hope has also
Yeah.
been my family, and I thank God. And it's been a wonderful experience anyway. So I didn't know why God wanted me to come here at such a time, but everything will get answers with time.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
thank you.
that is
So
great. That's
that's
great.
my experience in the background.
And
Yeah.
just to take you back, you mentioned that you went to Moi Forces Academy, and to my understanding, this academy admits only students whom either their parents are serving in uniform, or do they admit civilians, or your parents are serving in uniform?
Yeah, sure. Okay. My Forces Academy, as it is, that's formerly it was a national school and it's still a national school. And being a national school, it had to represent the whole country.
Oh, okay.
And so when, okay, in the background, or as in the general public, that's the perception that that's a military school. And so for you to go there, you have to have strings attached with the military
Yeah.
personnel. Yeah, that's what people believe. But back then when we were being admitted, and even now, because the school has since expanded the capacity,
Yeah.
the school used to admit 30% of people from the military, and 70% will come from the civilians, or
So.
at other times it will be 20% military and 80% civilians, because
Mm.
being that's a national school, it will not admit less than 380 marks.
So
So
which category did you fall in?
I
The
okay
military side or the civilian side?
okay I'm coming there. So that's what people believe anyway. And being that it will not admit people with lesser marks, so you had to perform if even if you're from the military. So for me, I passed well, I thank God.
Yeah, sure.
So my dad was in the military. That's how we found
Oh,
myself.
so your dad is a
And
military person.
yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
that's how we found myself there. Yeah,
Of
but that was not my dream school anyway. My dream school was Alliance, but then unfortunately, my classmate whom we were competing with ended up in Alliance. I ended up in my forces. That's how we neutralized the
were you
situation.
disappointed?
Uh, well, for my first year in Form 1, you are trying to adapt and catch things here and there. So at first I was disappointed, but I came to realize that provided I'm in a national school, I'm in the cream de la cream of my year. So
Yeah.
why worry? I still have the same opportunity that people from Alliance had to
Yeah,
to
sure.
to pass, and so that's how I found myself. I
And
relaxed and
you
continued
passed.
life, because anyway,
Mm.
when at one point I went to Alliance, I found that the environment is the same, facilities are the same.
Nothing
So
different.
yeah, there was nothing different from here and ours, and if anything, ours was to some
Even much
extent
better.
better than theirs. Only that they had weekend outs and we didn't have.
You are in a
Yeah,
military school,
yeah,
in short.
that was the
And
only
and at
difference.
home your parent is a military. You have that sense of protection. No, my dad is a military person. But in terms of discipline, are they is your dad a disciplinarian? We fear, let's say on my side,
Yeah.
if your dad is a military person, do they extend that strictness from military to home, or when he comes home is a little bit humble and being a father, or
Okay.
not under soldier?
That's an experience on its own. We can talk another day. But actually, my father is a dad. Yeah, he's a
So
dad.
that.
And when he's at home, you cannot know that from the military. He just associates with people normally, and when you meet him in a crowd, you cannot differentiate. Only you
Okay.
can only differentiate him from another normal civilian when maybe you are in a queue. They lack that patience. They want to be served and get
Fast and
things
go.
done and go. So that's the only thing that he lacks, that patience to wait in a queue.
Oh.
Yeah, but in these other things, he's just a normal person, and I can hardly remember if my dad has ever caned me all
Wow.
along my growth. Mom, yes, very many instances, but dad, I can't
You are,
remember
you are,
caning
you are,
even one of my brothers or
your dad
sisters.
has never caned you. Has he told you stories of ever shooting someone?
Um,
Or that one is a secret, confidential?
Well, they can't really tell you,
That
but
is classified.
okay, is also this person who is so secretive. We cannot
Yeah,
just tell you
sure,
things openly, but
sure.
well,
He's a
maybe
wonderful
maybe
dad.
not. But I think he might have done that to for self defense. Yeah, because in 2011, 2012, when I was in Form 4, he happened to be in the troop that went to Somalia. You know, that
Wow.
was the frontline battle. So
Sure, sure, sure,
yeah,
sure.
I really prayed that he will come
Back safe.
back safe and
And
alive. And fortunately, God heard my prayers. And yeah, he went to Somalia in the first troop. Then again, after I joined campus in my second day in 2015, he again went the second time. Yeah, so that has been his
yeah.
final years in the military, and many other times he had been in Boni, in Lamu County, and most other insecure areas. So
Places.
that's his. He's not a man of where he just stays in the office or
Yeah.
in the camp. No, he's person of the forest. Yeah.
Moving up.
So maybe
Did
he
maybe we
might
never
have
know.
done
That
that
is that is
for
classified.
self-defense. Yeah.
Let's not
But
talk
I
about
can't
that
really
deep.
say that now being in a military, the experience to do haunt him. No, he's just
Oh,
a normal person,
and
and
we
I
thank
love
God
him.
for the service that our military men are doing. The
Sure.
brothers, our fathers, our sisters who are taking good care of us through God's will. We say thank you to them, including your dad.
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
Do you miss him? Because they are hardly at home.
Okay. Uh, I can't really say that I do miss that. Like I miss seeing him, but I miss that. Sometimes I miss that fatherly love at times because
Yeah.
while growing from a younger age, my life has been in boarding, and being that most of the times is not at home, being at home or not being at home is there is no
Same.
difference. So we didn't grow with that his presence around, but we love his support and
Yeah.
his advice once in a while. Yeah, is this person when you go wrong, he doesn't have to cane you to know that he's a father. Yeah,
Yeah.
he just you sit with him on the table, you square issues, and you get going. That's
Wow.
whom he is. Yeah.
But the good thing is that you understood rather with your sibling the nature of his work. Let's come back to because I talk about a lot of your
Yeah.
dad and your family, and we thank God
Yeah, it's
for
good
them.
because being
Yeah.
in a military family, it's something that many would want to know. How
Yeah,
do you
sure.
manage?
How do you manage?
Yeah, sure.
Just before I come back to Kuzda, have you ever thought of going to military?
It's the last thing I ever wanted in my life. Not
Why?
even a cadet.
Why?
Actually, even my dad has never advocated for any of his children to join military. Being that I was in a military school, that didn't even motivate me. By the way, my forces is not that school of militarizing the students that you come out with the mindset of wanting to join military. No.
Yeah.
Actually, that school mentors you to be a person who can deliver in the society. And in any case, if there are any who usually join the military after going through that school, then it can be 2% or 3%. And if there are any, then most of them usually opt for cadets,
Yeah.
the highly specialized people, but not these the normal forces. No.
Wow.
Yeah, that's as in it does not really militarize its students.
Sure.
Yeah, I just love it. Yeah.
That's welcome.
But for me, I've never thought of being in a military. Maybe because of my personality, I'm this kind of person who is so like human, and even killing,
Mm.
maybe slaughtering a chicken. I'm so
Wow.
like
Yes,
I can't
you can't
dare.
slaughter chicken.
I can't. So
Ah,
maybe
ah,
it's
ah.
partly part of my personality that
S-
didn't motivate me
So
to
let
us.
me just ask you. We are coming to talk about health.
Yeah.
Leave alone that fast.
Yeah.
You may not be slaughtering a chicken because of health perspective. May not be taking the meat, but you fear, or what is making you not to slaughter chicken?
Okay, it's just that the thought of just taking away life. That
Okay.
from that perspective, I'm so
Okay.
like I just sympathize that now this life, and the Bible says, "Of its blood will I require in your hand." So that verse when I read it, it really impacted my personality. And when God was giving Noah the instructions on how they should consume flesh, and that part is saying that of the blood of an animal
Shall not
is
take.
the life
Yeah.
of that animal, and in your hand shall I require you. So that thing really impacted me in a different way. While I was a child, I could slaughter, but while I grew and became now the person whom I am, trying to gain my identity of whom, realizing
You
whom I
felt is
am. Yeah, so as in,
to you is it a sin?
not really a sin,
Sin,
but
but
that's sympathy. Yeah, that's sympathy alone.
sympathy.
Yeah.
So let me ask you an honest question.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're not stayed within KU,
Yeah.
not on a bad way,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes you find in the hostels probably
Mm.
these things called micro comrades. You know them.
Yeah.
Those things really bite people.
Mm-hmm.
Can you not?
Okay, for micro comrades, okay, I once interacted with those things, but one funny thing, they were not biting me, so I
Oh,
would rarely kill them.
you are
Not okay, I would kill them when I come in contact with them, but that's something that is there to give you discomfort.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Again,
Okay,
also the reason for killing is also
it's also
I
important.
give also in consideration.
Okay, let's get back to Kuza. Let's
Yeah,
leave
but
alone
that's whom
the
I
micro
am.
comrades and the killing of stuff. So when you came in, you joined Great Hope, you joined Kuzda, you have
Yeah,
served in Kuzda as the year representative,
yeah.
and currently you are serving as
Okay, after serving as a year representative for the 5th years, 6th years, and postgraduate,
postgraduate.
unfortunately, the second time I was not given any posts per se in the church, but that does not mean that I cannot serve,
Yeah,
provided I'm alive. Yeah, given opportunity, I can serve, but for now, I remained in Great Hope, so that's why I was serving as a spiritual leader. But then we had to give more room for others to also learn.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
got to
I'm
say.
just there as for technical assistance or whenever called upon.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
my viewers, Great Hope is one of the ministries in Kosa. We have around 7 ministries. Great Hope is just one of them. In a typical local church, we might say a group of some sort.
Singing group.
Yeah, or a singing group rather. So when you came in, Great Hope majorly around 90 something percent is made up of undergraduate. How did you come in and camouflage inside this group and uh, mingle with them until it took a lot of time for people to even realize you are doing masters.
Sure,
People thought you were in
sure.
first year 1.1.
Uh,
How did you
Honestly,
play all this?
I can say it's the grace of God.
Yeah.
For I really didn't know that it could be that humble. Because when I came, I remember on that first Sabbath, the then assistant coordinator, Timon Ondiego, is the one who welcomed me in Great Hope. And I wanted to camouflage and be neutral. Like, I just wanted to be a church goer. I didn't
Wow.
want to involve
And
myself
God
in
had
any
a
ministry.
different plan.
But then, unfortunately, we sat with the assistant coordinator for Great Hope, then Timon, is the one who ensured that I've joined the ministry. And it was indeed challenge, as in it was hard to be like that to be addressed as a first year, and when at the back of your mind you have a certificate somewhere
Yeah.
for a degree. So I can really say it was by God's grace, and I didn't want to identify myself as a postgraduate, and being that also none of my classmates was also a COSDA member, so that gave me an upper hand to stay low. But it came a time, as in people usually used to wonder when we were conversing, those obvious questions that first years do ask.
Yeah.
As in, they will see me as in I'm ahead of
Yeah. A little bit ahead
those,
of
yeah,
them.
I'm ahead
Yeah.
of my year,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Ay, how cool,
How cool.
like, can this be a first year really?" And so
People
it
are
came a
questioning.
time when we went for mission. We were in for mission in, where was
Oldonya.
it?
Oldonya
No,
Sabuk.
in yeah, Oldonyo Sabuk.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it came a point, being that I had passion for health, I used to sit and listen to the health presentations, and I felt there is a gap that needs to be
Be
covered.
covered.
It's not deliver, it's not packaged in the way it should be. And so, as in, I used to be so uneasy. So it came a time, the health presenter said that today I don't feel like I should present. I'm so low. And so she asked me to take her part because we're in the same visitation group.
Yeah.
And I said, well, let me try. She was covering nutrition on that day.
Yeah.
And it was the last bit. And you know, nutrition, if you don't package it in the right way, it can elicit so many controversial issues.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And being that you are presenting to people who are green in this area of nutrition. So I just prayed to God, and when I presented now, people started to have a different perspective about me. They started to question, can
Yeah, this
this
is your
really be a
first year.
first year?
This
I
is like a
really doubt.
professional health speaker.
Yeah, I really doubt if this is a first year. And he seems to know so much, and yeah, and up to that point, I had only disclosed to Brian Mosoti that I was a postgraduate. He's the only person whom
knew?
I ever knew, I told. And so he's the one who started spreading the rumors. This is not a first year as you think. So that's when now I had to just come out and tell people. But I didn't just tell people that way. They had to first question so much. But it was not in my uh, opinion that I should first come out that, oh, I'm a postgraduate, you know, and all those things, because you might end up losing many other things or privileges of knowing other things which you would have known, being that you have come from a different institutions. It's run differently from here. So I had to go low so that I can have an opportunity to ask questions and learn whenever I needed. So that's why I had to. But I thank God
And that is an extraordinary character. Most people will not go that route. They'll come and tell, I'm doing masters, nyinyi wote, above you. They feel that sense of worth above each and every person. But that is a very, very important character.
Yeah, sure.
Just trying to be humble, to be low, let people realize
by themselves.
Yeah. So you mentioned about health.
Yeah.
Your first mission, you became an health speaker. And most people around here in the church knows you as an health speaker, a person who advocates for health. You are part of medical missionary movement. How has this one impacted you, or what is your perspective of health in Adventist, especially to this setting of Kuzda Church or public campus?
Okay. My perspective, first of all, I have grown up. I really think that this is something that I've grown up with, because while I was in primary and, while passing through the streets, there were these people who are coming and you will get them gathered presenting on herbs and this can do this, this can do this. So I usually got interested in such meetings, and I grew up with that interest and of knowing, wanting to know. And there was a particular church member who used to buy books. Okay, he has a big library of books, and I was so interested with the health books, those that could give you remedies and natural foods, what they offer and what they can do to you. That was why back in primary, and so I was so interested in that, and I started reading those books. But then the language barred me because they were using too much professional languages, and going to Google every other word. Sometimes you couldn't get the right meaning, and
it's out of context.
Yeah, so I just read what I could understand, and so that's how I grew with that interest. And while I was in second year in my undergraduate, that's now when I was introduced to medical missionary. The medical missionary movement came to our university, and they were doing these health expos, and by then we were having an exam. So after exam, I attended the last 2 days, and wow, it was just interesting. And so they say that they will be coming the following semester for a training. I was among the first people to register we had a 1-month training while during the evenings when we had finished our lectures. So I came to appreciate the health message. And actually, while I was reading one of the Adventist mission magazines, the Adventist World, I was reading a post by Ted Wilson, who
Yeah.
was the SDA president,
Sure.
and was giving the heritage, the church heritage. Health is one of them.
Yeah.
So I came to understand that health is one of the Adventist heritage that we have been given, not to be proud of, but to dispense to the to
The people.
people, and to direct them and to show them that really this is what health is.
It's about.
And
Yeah.
my perspective towards this is that if we can embrace the health principles, then we can turn the world around. Uh, like the apostles, they were unlearned, but it's recorded that they turned the world upside
Upside down.
down.
Yeah, sure.
And if we can embrace the same, regardless of our education level and whatever status quo we may have,
Yeah.
we just put that aside and embrace the health message in its simplicity. Yeah, because this health message is so simple, and God just wants us to live that life
Simple
of
life.
simplicity. So if we can embrace that, then I guess we can also turn the health systems in all over the world upside down. Yeah, so that's my take, that
And
if we embrace it, then we can
they
turn the
say
world
it
upside
says
down.
that health is the right hand of the
The right
gospel,
arm of the gospel,
and
yes.
the health message is a simple message,
Yeah.
but many people have taken it to be a controversial message,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it now turns to reforms,
Mm-hmm.
especially on which foods to eat and which foods not to eat.
Sure.
And it is evident even from other resources or other scholarly readings
Mm-hmm.
that there's some kind of food that are harmful to our bodies.
Sure.
But when now comes to the church and to tell the guys this is bad, this is it is not good for your health,
Mm-hmm.
they say that my health is my
My
choice.
choice, yeah.
And in real sense, what we are being told is just for our own benefit.
Mm-hmm.
What is your perspective on health reform, and how do you think a student in the church setting like this
Mm-hmm.
can practice that health reform in a good way and live that simple life with the limited resources that the students have?
Sure. Okay, thank you for that. And let me first draw first track you when you were asking me that question. It really rang in my mind. And okay, while when the first medical missionary movement came to our university way back in
Yeah.
Jusda, uh, people embraced that message to the fullest. And well, some were named radicals. And you know what surprised me is at the end of that training, we also had another a week of prayer, and so it was running in 1.5 months,
Yep.
continuous. During at the end of that 1 week of prayer, uh, there was it was hosted by an evangelist called Joshua Menya.
Yeah.
I don't know,
I
you
think
have
I
heard
know
him.
him.
Yeah, so when we ended that 1 week, they requested him to add 1 more week. And at the end of it, we had so many people being baptized and many people converted, even from Catholic. And when they came, they just embraced it. And when they embraced it, I remember two of my friends. One was my classmate, actually. She was from a Catholic background. Nobody knows this. And she has just joined SDA, and she has reformed in her health. And it brought so many chaos. And when the parents came in probing of she was named a radical, and many others whom we had reformed. Yeah, when you pick that message in its simplicity, you are branded a radical. And but
Yeah.
anyway, we just adopted, and we just agreed to be called radicals, but it was for our good. And actually, after some time, people came to appreciate that it's not as they saw,
Yeah.
but it was for our good. And so this lady, by God's grace, she just maintained her stand. And you can't believe that up to now, the very people who are opposing her in the family are the very people who are in the church SDA. And God works in so many marvelous way.
Maybe just to understand you,
Yeah,
this lady was a Catholic,
she
and
was from
then
a Catholic
from the
background.
medical missionary campaign,
Yeah,
she got converted because of health message,
and became a
and
reformer
now
too.
she has drawn all the family
Yeah.
to Adventist.
Not all,
But
because
majority of them, or part
okay,
of them.
her mom was so much against her. She's now an Adventist,
Wow.
and
Wow.
God
Wow.
works in a way that I really just am amazed. Her dad developed a problem in her stomach. When
Yeah.
she went to hospital, scannings were made. They could not see any problem.
Yeah.
They gave him all medication that they thought could help her. The medicine didn't work,
Yeah.
and now the that's daughter just sympathized with him,
Yeah.
and she just blended for him very simple remedies, and she will take beetroot, she will take inaitwanga aje, pumpkin, and a few other fruits. Then she could blend and give him to drink, and then she will tell him not to eat supper, just drink that and take salad, cabbage salad, and sleep. Then he will eat in the morning.
Wow.
And after 1 week, that problem had disappeared, and it was a problem that made his stomach to swell. Like it just didn't allow him to go for work.
Wow.
He just had to stay in the house with all those medications, and so that's how God works. And the dad now started to have the right perspective of what medical missionary
It's all
movement
about.
is, and he just appreciated that the daughter got this light and brought it in the
The family.
family. And as in she has just been a testimony, and yeah, that is it.
That's a testimony.
Yeah. There are
Surely,
many
surely
other controversial issues that are raised in the church. I wouldn't want to
go deep
discuss
into
for
them.
this, yeah, for
But
the sake of
that's
this.
a classical example of health being the right arm of the gospel.
Yeah, okay.
Because yeah,
In that line also, it also happened to our family.
yeah,
You know, you've just reformed. When I told mom, she didn't, as in, it didn't take her by surprise, because my grandmother is she treats so many diseases using herbals,
yeah,
so that's something that she's used to. But it happened to my sister. My sister has problems with her respiratory system. So when she developed these problems, she's one person who cannot stay in the cold, cannot inhale even a small portion of dust. When she does that, she's exposed to that, then you can expect a very major cold, and she can cough the whole night. And so it happened that when I advised that she should not take milk, she should not take sugar, as in just totally reform and subsist on simple foods,
yeah,
vegetarian.
yeah.
Uh, as in, people found it weird. My brothers now, how can you survive even without milk? But I told them, if in any case she should continue with other foods, then milk should be the first thing that she should not take. And I continue to tell them that way, and I advised and I advised until now. I had to bring in another friend of mine who is a medical missionary. He came and treated her because she had gone to many hospitals.
Things are not working.
She was not just, as in, the more she took the medicine, the more she coughed, and
The more things get worse.
even she didn't, as in, she was in boarding, she had to come back home and all that. But when she stopped taking milk, the problem now reduced, as in, she just reformed. To date, she has reformed, and yeah, I can say she's doing well. But it came a time also, the remedy she was taking, ginger, turmeric, and rose, the I am
Rosemary.
forgetting, not rosemary.
Okay.
Okay, it's in the family of rosemary.
Okay.
So when she was taking those remedies, it reached a point they were not working, and so he had to question God, why all this?
Yeah.
That was when in last year during the corona period, and God directed me in a way, because after prayers, I just opened the Ellen White Estate, and I was reading a particular section on manuscript releases.
Yeah.
I found somewhere she was recommending eucalyptus oil and honey for flus and for any other respiratory conditions. So I thought, wow, this is God given. I just want to try it today. And so I tried it. I made a concoction of of eucalyptus
And honey.
and honey and gave, and wow, it worked. And she had a very smooth night. She slept for the first time in that whole week, for the first time without coughing, without any
It works
movement.
like a magic.
Yeah, like it was so amazing. And that's now when I came to realize that, God wants us to believe. He says that when I am lifted up, I'll draw all men.
Unto
And
me. Yeah.
he was telling the Israelites that the very way Moses lifted up the snake is the same way he will be lifted. And whoever would believe, he will be healed.
Sure.
And you can't really imagine that you have been bitten by a serpent and you just behold a snake and you are
You get
healed.
healed,
So
yeah.
that's faith. And it's the same faith that God wants us to have while using these remedies. It's just he just needs us to believe in him that he's the healer, and we just use the simple remedies he has given us in nature, and that's all we need.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, wow. Babs, I remember when COVID-19 came in, we had a discussion with you in WhatsApp,
Yeah.
and you told me that people will go forth and two and forth and two, but we all have the medicine of COVID-19. And you mentioned the concoction, the mix of ginger,
A lemon.
lemon, and the rest.
Yeah.
And I remember telling you, no, this thing, I really don't think it
And
if
we
it
posted
will
in the
work.
group.
And it passed, I think, 1 week or 2 weeks. Then we had the president of TTZ, Pombe, telling his countrymen that they should take a concoction. And also we had a discussion earlier on that.
Yeah.
And I think so far it is evident to most people that that concoction is very powerful against flu.
Mhm.
So basically, all the diseases that we are having, God already created a medication
Okay.
to all of them.
What we need to understand is, the way we are created in a way that we should coexist with nature. And in coexisting with nature, it means that we have to strike a balance.
Yeah.
So, the way God wants our bodies to work is, he desires the body to be maintained in an alkaline environment.
Okay.
But then, most of the foods that we consume, we like consuming animal proteins. When we take those animal proteins, the immediate effect is they create an acidic environment in the body.
Okay.
And most organisms thrive well in an acidic environment. Most disease-causing germs, they will thrive well in an acidic environment. But the moment you reverse the environment, then you create an alkaline base, then most of these organisms will just die off. An example is the likes of cancer. These are cells that have rebelled against the laws of nature. So when you reverse the system, then they'll just die off and get off the system. So what works well, the power behind a concoction is, you see, those are, it's a mixture. We have onion and we have garlic. Those are very strong antibacterials. We have lemon rich in vitamin C that's good for creating, vitamin C is there for the immune system. Yeah, it's the best supplement for strengthening the immune system. And you can also be creative and add a few other remedies that you feel can be of help. You can even opt for rosemary. It has many other properties, like that they have radicals. Yeah, so it's just the way you decide to be creative. But then the basic thing is, when God wants us to be this simple, he just wants us to maintain that balance with nature. We maintain an alkaline condition in our body, and we'll thrive well in our health.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So as we come to an end of this, I know time has really gone.
Sure.
And we want to come to a conclusion. I know we can talk about more and more about health until it is wide.
There's so long. Yeah,
it can take so long. So maybe what you can tell to the students that who are in Kusda, or those who are watching us at today? What is just one piece of last advice you can tell them concerning their health and how they should eat?
Okay, thank you. In fact, I'd forgotten that bit you had asked me.
Yeah.
I forgot. So what I would advise my fellow students is we are young, we are just growing, we still have more opportunities to explore life. What I'd advise is let's not be taken by the by the trends of the world. The world is coming up with so many shortcuts in life, and this includes food, this includes lifestyle, and all this God had foresaw and has given us a blueprint in the Bible that let's not conform to the standards of this world. Um, we have a medical missionary movement in Kusda Church. It has been accepted. We thank God for that.
Sure.
We usually have trainings on Sundays, so we are harmonizing on how we can get back. Last semester we were doing it before COVID, and many people were coming up and they were just amazed. What I'd like to encourage my fellow students is let's join medical missionary, let's embrace health reform, because this is the very best lifestyle that God has desired for us. And if you didn't know, I am a personal testimony. After my reformation, I could hardly remember uh, many things. Like, you'll tell me to call you maybe in the next 30 minutes. The way you told me, I will just, as in, I couldn't remember. But after I reformed and I came to realize this was an effect of sugar, when I left consuming sugar, anything that you can tell me, I can hardly forget. So that's one thing that I came uh, to uh, to thank God for. As in, generally, my memory was sharper than before. So what I can advise students is let's embrace health reformation. And while you are embracing health reformation, you should not go relying on your own power. By your own power, you cannot make it, but by God's grace, you can find power and you will have the ability to embrace it to the fullest. And God will grant you the wisdom that He granted even to Daniel. Thank
Wow,
you.
wow, wow. Thank you so much, Babere. I know we go through difficult moments. Some of us have some diseases that we are not even aware of. And in case you may need assistance of my brother here, Babere, just in this section of comments, just put a comment there, then we will connect you with him. He can recommend to you or in a way assist you with what you are going through so that you may get out of that pain maybe you are going through. It has been very informative. It's just that we have a limited time. We could have go on, but this is not the end. You can reach us out. We can connect and talk on health. And my brother is willing all the time. I think you also have the remedies where you can access them.
Okay, for the remedies, I don't have them all, but we have an easy access right here in town. There is a shop that usually sells those remedies, so they're easily accessible. When you go to town, there is Njengi House. Njengi House is just opposite Odeon. The building you see right opposite Odeon, the second floor. There is a room. When you ask there, you'll be directed. It's a non shop, so when you go there, they have all those remedies at a
Yeah.
throwaway price. So when you have like some of these, especially the lifestyle diseases that uh, are an issue in the world, then they have all those remedies. And I may not have the all the knowledge, but having social capital is one thing that you can ever be proud of. So I have many other friends who are experienced in these medical missionaries. They can always help, and they are very much willing and readily available. So whenever you have a problem or a health challenge, it can be you, it can be a relative, just reach out in the comments, then we can reach you and you can get the relevant help. Thank you.
Thank you so much. May God Almighty bless you even as you continue with your work as a medical missionary,
Thank you.
and let the health message be taken to all four corners of this world as we prepare for the second coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you so much, our viewer. Until next Friday, see you again.